You've got an idea, and we've got your next steps. Let's get started. Thanks for joining us for session 102 of the App Building course by Divine Digital Agency. You've got an idea, and that's why you're here today. Now we're going to talk about defining that idea. You may already have a fairly developed concept, or you may be working from a raw concept that you need to chew through. Regardless of how far along your idea is, let's talk about some of the key questions that'll help you to define your concept. Now, what exactly do I mean by define your concept? Well, it's not just enough to say, I want to make it easier for people to buy coffee. You can't build technology that makes it easier for people to buy coffee without determining what that means specifically, right? So for example, you might have noticed that people spend a lot of money throughout a given month on all different kinds of coffee shops. Each individual shop has its own frequency program, but you want users to be able to collect points regardless of where they get their coffee. You plan to generate a large user base and sell sponsorships from different coffee shops. So, on its face, yes, you're making it easier for people to buy coffee, but really you're now zooming into the actual concept which can be used to start building an app. Let's continue by asking a few questions here. Now the first question we want to tackle is this a totally new idea that will stand alone? Or is it based on something you're already doing offline or manually? This question usually applies to businesses that have a system they run offline that they're looking to digitize. Things like project management, real estate systems, things of that nature. So with this question, we need to identify if there's another system we're recreating or one that we need to hook up to or incorporate, or if this is a completely novel system. Now in the case of the coffee app example, let's say this is a novel idea. Now I want to ask you, how did you come up with this idea? What made you think about this, and what problem are you looking to solve? Going back to the moment that the idea sprouted in your brain will likely help you to verbalize not just the solution, but the problem as well. It's important to keep the problem in mind so that you can always go back and ensure that you're sticking to your idea and that you're always looking to solve that problem through your app. Now in our coffee shop example, the key problem we're looking at is that dollars are being spent inefficiently at Dunkin', Starbucks, and hometown coffee shops. Well, wouldn't it be nice if all those dollars were going to one goal? So as we're building this app, we can compare any new feature ideas back to this point. The next question is, who is your target user? Now, if you're particularly optimistic or high on your idea, you're gonna say, everyone! This is for everyone! But this is a bad rabbit hole to go down. Even if eventually this is something that will catch fire in a universal way, you need to identify a target based on the primary person you expect to use the app. In this way, you can actually tailor the app to them rather than trying to be all things to all people. Now in our coffee app example, we're probably talking to young professionals, males and females. Not only are these the most adept coffee drinkers, but they're also a loyal customer base that has little to no technology learning curve, so you don't have to worry about that. Now at the same time, we are going to take into consideration usership outside of that demographic by making sure that the program is universally simple. Although we are targeting a specific demographic, you can never go wrong with being generically user-friendly in such a way that anyone, yes, anyone, can pick up the app and be fairly confident in how to use it. Finally, you need to ask yourself, why will people use your app? Now, this is an obvious question, but it's going to help you to determine how strong your concept actually is. You could have the greatest idea in theory, but if it's not truly something usable, you need to go back to the drawing board. Now, this also brings us into the competition question. But competition doesn't just mean there are other apps like this out there, right? The question really is there another way to do what you're trying to do? And if there is, what advantages does your idea have over the others? See, you need to clearly define why people will download and use your app. So let's return to the coffee app example. A legitimate question is, if users have individual apps for Starbucks and Dunkin' and they're collecting points separately, why would they need this app? Now, in my opinion, having the competition present doesn't actually discredit the idea at the get-go. In fact, it's quite the opposite. This gives you the opportunity to build in key differentiators at this stage. What do those other apps lack that you can offer? Well, if you're going to unify all coffee purchases, what you're going to have to do is give something in return that is comparable to what the other apps are giving, or better. Now this is the direction that you need to be thinking in. So I recommend you take some time to pore over these questions as it relates to your idea. There's lots more in the next session, but if you're ready to start a conversation with one of our experts about making your app idea a reality, I want you to visit divinedigitalagency.com/contact. We'll see you in the next lesson.